Hello and welcome to another RWD screencast. Today we are going to be talking about another HTML5 technology. This is the drag and drop API. The drag and drop API was introduced as part of the HTML5 spec and gives the ability of designers and developers to allow users to drag elements on the page, drop them elsewhere, have them interact with other elements on the page, pass data between elements, and to allow for different types of interactions with those elements using the event handler syntax. So this is just going to be a quick overview of this. There's plenty of documentation out there if you want to delve into this a little bit more, but I just thought this was an interesting and a API that I don't really hear too much about, so it was actually something fairly new to me, and I just thought it was something worth sharing. Just a quick note about usage. This is something that is pretty well supported across the desktop browsers, not as well supported across the mobile implementations, which makes sense considering the fact that this is something for dragging and dropping, not necessarily for touching. So this is probably something you want to avoid, or at least have some kind of a fallback for mobile. So taking a look at the API, the drag events, there are several different event handlers that are associated with drag and drop. We've got onDrag, onDragEnd, onDragEnter, onDragExit, etc. We are going to be taking a look today at the onDragEnd, but most of this should be applicable to other drag and drop functionality as well. So here we have just a generic boilerplate HTML page with an ID, with a div with an ID of test, which has an attribute of draggable set to true. And here we have the onDragEnd. So this is the event handler that we're talking about, and there is an inline function call associated with that particular event, and it is a handler that we have defined within our JavaScript. It's called dragEnd_handler, and it passes one value, the one parameter to the function, which is event, and that event is the details associated with the event that took place. So that could include information about the element that was interacted with, any other elements on the page that it may have that it may have been dropped on top of. It can carry some payload data associated with that element, and a variety of other things that can be used for creating some kind of interaction between those elements. We also have here some CSS. The CSS is just positioning our div element absolutely, and just assigning the width and height of that, as well as the left and top positions, which is going to give us something that looks kind of like this. So here we have a page that has a blue rectangle on it, just kind of sitting there. So what do we do with that? Well, if you remember back in our index.html, we had defined a event handler called dragEnd_handler, and we have defined that function here and taking our parameter of e. Now what this is going to do is it's going to set a couple of variables. The first variable is going to be the x coordinate, which is going to be equal to the page x value of the event. So that basically says where on the page the particular element was dropped, and it's going to set the y value, which is again going to be set to the event.pageY value, which is going to be the y coordinate of where the element was dropped. And then we're going to subtract 50 from that because we want to actually get the top position of the element, not the bottom position. And since it's 50 pixels high, subtracting 50 would give us the top position. Then what we want to do is we want to set the style of that element. We want to change the left property to the X value that we just captured and the top value to the Y value that we just captured. So what that'll do is, let's just bring up the console here. If we drag it, it's going to drop that. You can see here the style changes. The left and top coordinates now correspond with the values of where the element was dropped. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I know this was kind of just a short one. I've got some other content on the way, so please keep an eye out for that. We're going to be doing some more on HTML5. Thanks again. If you enjoyed this, leave your messages in the comments. Please feel free to get me on Twitter at IgnoreIntuition. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see me cover. And I'll be seeing you again real soon. Thank you.